Welcome to Good Day Dixie. I'm your host, Erin Allred, and I have a special guest with me in studio today that's going to help me out with the Dixie Dozen. I have DJ Lex here, so thank you. He helped me last week. He's helping me again. I called him at the last second and I said, I really need help with the Dixie Dozen. I don't want to be sitting here talking to myself. So thank you, Lex, for joining me again for the Dixie Dozen. And on the show today, we have some really fun guests. We have some ladies from the local dance team called, help me pronounce it right.
Chaparrals.
The Chaparrals. I told Lex he has to make sure that I pronounce things correctly. That's one of his jobs on the show today. The Chaparrals are a new local dance team here in St. George, and they are the official dance team for the Roadrunners. So we're going to talk to them today, but first, we're going to get right down to the Dixie Dozen. So we're going to start out, oh, and the Dixie Dozen, for those of you just tuning in, the Dixie Dozen is the 12 things in southern Utah going on this week, next couple weeks, that you just really need to know about. So starting off with number one, Lex, who's here to help, right, is the Utah Summer Games. They're coming up all this month, and next week on the show, we're going to talk to some people who are actually competing in the games. But make sure they need volunteers still, and you can also still sign up to compete in the Summer Games, in fact. But what I think is most interesting is I went online and read some of the events that take place at the Summer Games, and I was a little bit surprised. I didn't realize some of these events that they have. They have bass fishing. Lex, you may have known this. I did not know this, though. They also have bowling at the Summer Games. They have chess, which I didn't know was something you could compete in at the Summer Games, powerlifting, power tumbling, rowing. But what I'm actually most interested in, and I'm going to put Lex on the spot because I made him become an expert on this sport and look it up. They have something called, I believe it is cowboy action shooting. And last week on the show, we talked about this a little bit. I have no idea what cowboy action shooting is, but I want to go to the Summer Games just to find out, and Lex looked it up. So can you tell me exactly what this sport
according
is?
to Wikipedia, which is the authority, and we were actually joking about what we thought cowboy action shooting was.
Yeah.
We were making fun, well, not making fun, but imagine that, you know, an old Western shootout. It turns out, once again, according to Wikipedia, it is just like that. You have a costume, you have an alias, you use a 19th century revolver, and there's kind of different scenarios. So I guess the idea is kind of like an old Western shootout. So that's pretty cool. We'll have to find out.
Well, so we were right. We were joking about it, and we were exactly right. But make sure you attend or volunteer the Summer Games, if for no other reason but to see the cowboy action shooting, for sure. Number two on the Dixie Dozen, and since Lex is my official pronouncer of words today, I'm going to put him on the spot again. But just kind of a public notice, some divers found a specific muscle, and I believe it's pronounced guaga.
You know, I'm not sure on that. I would say that's close. Quagga, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
They found this mussel in the Sand Hollow Reservoir near Hurricane, and so if you have had any sort of boat, any watercraft in the reservoir in the last 30 days, you have to get your boat checked out and you have to report to Sand Hollow whether or not you've been in this facility so that they can check your boat out and make sure you don't have any of these mussels like hiding out in your boat. They're trying not to spread this. So if that's you, make sure you contact the reservoir, let them know, they'll come check you out, make sure you're okay. Number two. Number three is the Interstate Batteries Long Drive Championship and Salisbury Home Shootout. Now, that's a big, long name, and we had some guests on the show last week talking about this. We had Drew Dixon telling us a little bit about this shootout. They're doing a hole-in-one at the Coral Canyon Golf Course June 24th through the 26th, and if you get a hole-in-one, which I don't know what the odds are of this, but you should be practicing because the prizes are pretty cool. You can win a home from Salisbury Homes if you get a hole-in-one at the shootout.
That's enough to make me want to start golfing.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to be there because Devin Dixon issued a challenge to me saying that me and him were going to kind of compete head-to-head in this competition, the longest drive competition. So I've been lifting and working out. So come to that June 24th through 26th and check us out for that. Number 4 is a cool new website that I found. It's stgeorgeart.com. And St. George is known, really. I mean, we have wonderful art throughout the city, great artists, photographers, all over. And they wanted to kind of consolidate all of this and have one place that you can go, check out all the art in the city, also know what events are going on that showcase art pieces. They also have a city walk that happens downtown once a month that you can go check out different artists. So go to this website, stgeorgeart.com, and take a look at that, especially if you're involved in art or interested in it around the city. It's a great thing to check out.
I think they have I get Facebook. I think I get Facebook invites to those events, and now it all makes sense to me.
Well, and we love Facebook. That's a great way to find out. You can even add St. George City, so they have information about that as well on Facebook. Number 5, theater here in St. George is huge in the summer, and we have 2 specific, I guess, theater companies and places to go for great theater. And you and I talked about this last week as well, because I was surprised and I was a little bit embarrassed for myself that I have never been to the Utah Shakespearean Festival. So Lex and I are going for sure this year. But Cedar City has the Shakespearean Festival. Make sure you go check that out. It's all summer long. They have some new plays that they're doing. They have, obviously, new actors that are being showcased. Make sure you attend the Shakespearean Festival, and we will be there as well.
Yes, we will.
Also, the Tuacahn Center for the Arts, and this is something that I wasn't aware of, and maybe you were, because I think you keep up on these things a little bit better than I do, but Walt Disney made it so that the Tuacahn Center for Arts could do a play, let me make sure I say it right, Tarzan. And they're the only theater company that has, I guess, the rights to perform Tarzan. So they're doing that this summer, Tuacahn Center for the Arts. Make sure you go check it out. You can't see it anywhere else.
I had no idea that Tarzan was a musical.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Is it romantic comedy? What do you think?
Definitely, that's number 5. Number 6, Groove Fest American Musical Festival. And you should be really interested in this because you're really into music, being a DJ.
Yes.
I know you love 80s music, but this music festival is for American style music. And I thought, well, what's American music? Do you have a guess, specifically?
Let's see, in general, I'd guess more blues, folk, that kind of thing.
Well, you're right. That, bluegrass, country western, American jazz, all of these things will be at the Groove Fest American Music Festival, June 23rd through the 27th, and it's at the Main Street Park in Cedar City. So go check that out as well. July 4th is coming up, the 4th of July, which is my favorite holiday. I love it even more than Christmas. I love fireworks, I love the warm weather, everything. So I was wondering, what is going on here in southern Utah for the 4th of July? Because I like to have lots of options, you know. So here we go. In Beaver, you can go check out the 10th annual Butch Cassidy Festival. In Beaver. Did you know that they had a Butch Cassidy Festival?
I did not know that.
Well, I love Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I think I'm really interested in that. And so I'm going to be there Saturday, July 2nd through the 3rd. That's in Beaver. Now, if you want to head to Cedar City, maybe you need a little bit cooler weather, right? They've got something for the 4th of July. They have their Independence Day celebration. They have an American Family Festival, so it's great for children of all ages. It's July 2nd through the 5th from 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Cedar City. So if you want to go there, check that out. In Hurricane, they have at the Salisbury Sports Complex, they have a Land of the Free celebration, and that's just on July 5th. It starts at 6 a.m. with some fireworks and some different things. So if you want to do Hurricane, they have a great event as well. What do you usually do on the 4th of July? Where do you usually go?
I'm trying not to mix it up with the 24th of July, but usually I'm somewhere downtown St. George watching the fireworks right off the Dixie Rock.